longer you hold on to them, because again, that helps for school. So there are two suggestions I have. The first one is just basic with this, and that is this. What I probably should have had you write up here in the beginning is that this is the truth about how the brain works without immediate review. So if right after you finish a class, or right after you finish reading a textbook, if you don't get up and walk away, but you go back and spend a few minutes and review it, you'll always remember more. This won't happen quite as bad. Okay, but on your list, you have a couple of other ideas, and they are listed here as number 2 and 3, the magic number and rewrite long lists. So most of the rest of the workshop, I want to explain this, and then as I said, I'll just get to the last part quickly at the end. There's a magic number that's good for you to remember. This is the result of a whole bunch of studies with college students as well, and that is this. They tried to figure out, when somebody sits down and they try to learn a bunch of definitions or other facts, how many different things can the average person learn at one time and remember them for a long time? The answer, which is the magic number, is 7. Not 10, not 20, not 50. This is another reason why cramming doesn't work. So if you sat down and you really concentrated, you could learn 7 things at one sitting, at one time, and remember them really well. Well, if that's true, then there's a problem. And that is, I don't know how many of you have ever had this happen in college, but some teachers do something to help their students. That's nice. They give them a study guide a week before the test or 2 weeks before, so that's good. And sometimes, here's what the study guide looks like. It's a list of all the terms, the vocabulary terms that you're supposed to know for the test. So that all looks good, right? It's helpful, except sometimes the list goes on and on and on and on the back, and it's a scary looking list. A few years ago, one of my students showed me a study guide just like this that she had gotten from one of her classes, and I looked at it, and it was the front and back, and I thought, that's the longest list I've ever seen. So I counted it so that I could tell all my students forever. Here's how many terms were on this person's study guide. 183. And the teacher handed that at the end of class and said, have a good weekend. And everybody is just standing there looking, and of course the reaction is, are you kidding? Nobody can learn that much. It's scary to look at. Well, when you get a really long study guide and you're just thinking, oh, there's no way I can learn that, you have two choices. One, go right away and drop the class. That's not the best choice. The other one is to say, how can I actually get all of that in there so that I can learn it for the test? And that's where number 3 on this list comes in, which is rewrite long lists. And so what you would do would be to take this scary looking long list, and you would take a sheet of paper and you would write down some of these items or these terms on there. And how many would you write? 7. And it could be 8 or 9 or 6. It doesn't have to be exactly 7, but you would actually write about 7. Another piece of paper, etc., and you chop up the giant list into a bunch of little lists. Now when you're done with that and you have this stack of lists, here's the one on top. This is your first one. This is all you can see. What is your attitude going to be toward learning this? Yeah, if you're scared by learning 7 vocabulary